Hello and welcome to Qsports. I am Umudu Gajaga. Thank you very much for joining us. Coming up tonight, the Gambia women's national team has been thrashed by 8 goals to 0 when they faced Cameroon, the Lionesses, in Cameroon at the Africa Women's Cup of Nations qualifiers, the last round of fixtures. That is both home and away, but the away leg, it was disastrous for the Gambia women's team. Will they be playing for pride in the second leg? And we will also be talking about schools athletics, as the president of the Gambia Secondary School Sports Association spoke to the media about the challenges that they face as an association to be able to stage the schools sports championship. That is the annual event where schools would gather together and compete for places at a national event. It has both track and field events. I was in Farafenni and he spoke to us. We will also be talking about swimming, because there's a live swimming competition that was held, which is about life saving in Egypt, where a Gambian took part, former Olympian, that is Pap D. Jonga, in the Rio 2060 Olympics. He competed for the Gambia in the 50 meters butterfly and the 100 meters breaststroke. We will also be talking about that. All that on tonight's Qsports. Welcome and thank you if you're just joining us. This is Qsports and I am Umudu Gajaga. First, we'll be talking about football. The Gambia women's team were thrashed by 8 goals to 0 against Cameroon, who were the host in the Women's Football Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. And they are all looking for a place in the final round, that is a competitive spot in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, which will be held later this year in Morocco. But the Gambian team have been destroyed in the first leg. The return leg, will they just be playing for pride? More in this report. The Gambia women's team conceded as early as 2 minutes. Goals continued to flow thereafter, with Ajara Nekut scoring the second in the 16th minute. Host Cameroon went into the break leading 4-0, dominating possession and chances. In the second half, Cameroon's ruthlessness continued. Just 11 minutes after the break, Falone added to their tally before Tatiana Iwodo made it 6-0. The host further dismantled the Gambia team, wrapping up a one-sided game with 2 goals in the 74th and 86th minutes, making the score 8-0 to Cameroon. The scoreline and the result should not be a shock, as the Gambians faced a vastly experienced team, featuring players plying their trade professionally around the globe. The return leg tie will be in 1 week, and it will appear to be a mere formality for the Lionesses, while the Gambia women's national team will play for pride. And now to schools athletics. The Secondary School Sports Association's president, Ismaila Cisse, talks about the challenges that his association face in staging the schools athletics competition. He spoke to the media at the sidelines of the schools athletics regional championship, which was held in Farafenni, and he said if it were not for the GTU-CCU and also the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education support, they wouldn't have been able to stage this event this year. Let's hear from Ismaila Cisse. Okay, Ismaila, you're the president of the Secondary School Sports. Today, we're here at the Farafenni Mini Stadium for the last 3 days. Activities have been going on. Tell us about your impression of the event so far.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming. This year's Inter-School Athletics Championship has started in earnest. It started very well. We are very much happy that a lot of schools decided to turn out this time around due to the fact that last year there was no championship. and they were all overwhelmed with the manner in which the competitions have been organized by the Secondary School Sports Association. And that actually makes me very much happy and impressive with the turnout and also with the manner in which the students comport themselves from the beginning of the games up to the final day.
In terms of the organizational aspect of it, you as organizers, what are some of the challenges that you faced?
We faced a lot of challenges, and we have been echoing those challenges in the past years. One of the biggest challenges that we face is the lack of resources, that is the funds, the required funds to organize this competition. Sometimes before we even pack up to reach out to a particular zone or region, we have to struggle. If at all the Gambia Teachers Union, Cooperative Credit Union is not available, most of the time we will not be able to organize these events, because anytime we lack funds, those are the ones that we normally fall back to go and then seek for loan and then start the championship. And then also the lack of our parent organizations or associations to actually give us the support, and also the other ministries, especially the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Although with the coming of the new minister, Mr. Baji, we planned several times. Due to his tight schedules, we could not meet him. But I'm sure anytime we meet him, we are hopeful that something positive will definitely come out from his office. But in the past, we did a lot of engagements, but all those engagements were futile. And then GAA, GNOC, all these are all organizations that definitely need to support this particular championship. Apart from the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education and also the GTU, CCU, of course, when it comes to football, is the GFF. We hardly have support. And also with the media, of course, the media fraternity is always on our side, which actually make us feel good. Anytime we are going, the media will also always make sure they are on our side, they cover our programs, and so that the whole entire Gambia can know that yes, School Sports is definitely staging their championship.
Well, when it comes to that support bit of it, I would still ask you, for the authorities, this is a very important event. This is where Guinea started. Yeah. This is where Adam Ajame started. This is where Suwai Busane and all the other athletes. Even the current defense minister, Sir Omar Fai, he was also running from the schools.
Yeah, exactly. Gambia, when people elevated to certain positions, take up certain responsibilities, we tend to forget the past. And this has always been the case here in this country. And honestly, I sometimes find it very much disheartening to see to it that at least a competition like this is being organized nationwide. This is a national competition, and it's not even being given the relevant support and recognition by the authorities. Definitely is a problem. All the young athletes, all the Jinabasis and others, Adam James, and like you mentioned, they all sprout from this competition. But come on, the authorities, they know, they have seen it, they see what we can do, but still the support is lacking. They are not coming up. They are not coming up, honestly.
Finally, the national championship is going to come in a few weeks' time, in March to be precise. The Independence Stadium is going through renovation. The Gambia is going to play an international match, that is the AFCON qualifier, Ivory Coast 2023, that's the preliminaries. They will be playing against Chad. For that stadium closure, have you been in touch with the stadium management, and is your event going to hold, that is the national championship?
Yes, the Secretary General of the Association, Lamin Jame, when I heard of this stadium closure, I contacted him. He said he's in touch with them. Because for us, when it comes to athletics, we don't touch the pitch. The grasses are there, we make sure that is protected, because that is where the football is being staged. So for us, our concentration is mainly on the tracks. And if you follow our competition in the past years, we minimize, restrict, and seriously the number of people that has to get into the stadium proper. We want everyone who comes to watch is on top, apart from the athletes, apart from the officials and the press. There is no other person that is needed to be in the stadium. So we hope, we are not actually worried about that, because we know we can stage our competition without actually touching the pitch. So the stadium is being closed. The main reason is the grasses, because the last musical show that took place there actually suffocate the grasses a lot. And I think in the future, the government of Gambia definitely needs to come out, and we need to be embarrassed, in the sense that we didn't have any other stadium apart from only the Independence Stadium since independence. Okay, so these are things that the government need to work on. in order for every region to have a standard stadium. Look at Cameroon. Some of you were there, you've seen Cameroon, you see the number of stadiums that the Cameroonians have. You go to Senegal. Senegal built a new stadium not long ago, and they are building others. What about the Gambia? All the funds that are here, still we cannot build a stadium. So this is a problem. That is why lack of facilities definitely is killing sports development in this country. And I think the Gambia is not an exception. Gambia is the only country in Africa that is lagging behind when it comes to sport facilities. It's one of the countries that does not have, the required and enough sporting facilities in order to develop their raw athletes, raw talents. Look at what is happening here. You see all these young talents, they are from schools. They all started they have to go and clear the grass and clear an area in order for them to train. Look at Faravey, look at all the up-country. They don't have even a carpet to train on. Even a mere carpet, we cannot have it. Faravey, this mini stadium should have a carpet. But the management of sports, those in charge of sports, definitely, I don't know how they are, foreseeing the future, but actually, they need to put on their right lenses in order to see the future very brightly.
Now to cycling. It's not one of the known sports in the Gambia, perhaps doesn't even get mentioned in the media. But on Independence Day, cyclists, 19 of them competed from Kalaji to Banjul. 132 kilometers is what they ride in that cycling competition. And for more details, let's get this report. Raising bikes in commemoration of the Gambia's 57th independence anniversary. These cyclists are displaying unbelievable endurance, speed and determination. The 132 kilometers starts from Kalaji in the West Coast region and ends at Makati Square in Banjul. They were riding against the wind, high and low levels of the road at a huge risk. After 20 minutes, two riders withdrew from the race. One cited cramp, while another had a burst tire. As the journey gets longer, two others also withdraw. However, the real race began in Brikama. The cyclists adjusted their speed, but traffic jams along the highway slowed them down and posed many risks. Determined to finish the race, the cyclists managed to beat the traffic jam in Brikama, Busumbala, Lamen, Tabokoto and Westfield. Modu Keita came first in 3 hours 53 minutes.
Very happy for my coach, who encouraged me, being a cyclist and giving me more support. I'm telling my coach big thanks, who is Cherno Juf, and my entire colleague. I feel it very easy. God make it for me very easy. Though I think that it was going to be very difficult, but alhamdulillah, I thank God.
Sajo Cisse came second in the race and shares his experience.
Anyway, I want to surprise the come from the second, either come from the first, either come from the third. Because the experience is there, and if I'm not training, okay, puru yung competition, ala kumaya fanang, ala kumaya yung fanang, ayaw wakilin di ka training o lafa.
One of the cyclists, Mustafa C, is the youngest at 14 years. He managed to ride for at least 40 kilometers of the 132-kilometer journey. He says his first-time experience. Cycling is important for our health. Regular cycling stimulates and improves your heart, lungs, circulation, reducing your risk of cardiovascular diseases, and reduces blood fat level. While many Gambians were celebrating Independence Day at the Makati Square in Banjul, and others were enjoying holidays at various places, these cheerful, determined cyclists have chosen a special way to commemorate our country's National Day. And finally, on Qsports, let's talk about swimming. The live swimming competition which was held in Egypt as part of life saving. So many people would go to the beach to swim, but for their safety, it is hugely important for people to be around them to make sure that they don't drown. And one Gambian who is a former Olympian participated in that competition, Pap Dijonga. And I earlier on had a discussion with him, and here is an insert of the interview.
Yeah, so you're a former Olympian and now you were meant to participate in this championship. It's called the Egyptian Diving and Life-Saving Championship, which was held recently. Tell us about you in that competition.
The competition was held by the Egyptian Life Saving Society as well as the championship. The goal for the event was to bring African countries together and work towards on drowning prevention, and that was the concept of the event itself.
Okay, you being a young somebody who is like a trainer, or you are helping other people to come up when it comes to swimming?
Yeah, so since after the Olympic, I have been training, but my focus was a bit more shift to in terms of life-saving society, because currently that's what I am working as. I'm working as a lifeguard as well as a swimming instructor. So it's kind of been part of me since I left the Gambian show, and I'm still pursuing that in terms of sport and also in terms of health-wise and in terms of knowledge and education.
Oh, you're currently in Dubai. Tell us, what sort of program are you going through in Dubai?
So currently here in Dubai, I've moved here in the that's the way the life after sport. I have always imagined it in this way. Sport is just there as a title, but once your age starts to go up and then you feel your body is starting to relax, to me, my own understanding, the goal I have towards it is to look for another path, but in the same sport that I love doing. That's where I invest my time, energy, knowledge, and try to gain and learn more and more as well as I am participating. And currently, that's what I am doing.
Well, Pap, except if you want to add anything, I wish you all the best, and hopefully very shortly we would have another interview to talk about something else different.
Yeah, the only thing I might add, I will just thank you for hosting me, and it was a pleasure. I know it's my first time speaking in Zoom call. I usually do it like face to face, and I have plans to relocate back to the Gambia. As of the moment, there are so many events that I want to organize when it comes to the life-saving society in the Gambia and also in terms of drowning prevention. So
Thank you very much for watching Q Sports. Until we come your way next week, keep on sporting and have a pleasant evening. Bye.